up and away. Orbital insertion.
Hello everybody and welcome to another shipbuilding video. This time we're going to be building the new Virginia class heavy cruiser, the Vindicator. Now this is a very large ship and there's lots of parts to go over. To make it easier, I'm going to go ahead and break the video down into different sections and parts. I'm going to put timestamps on here on YouTube so you can go exactly to the section you want. The overview of this video, we're going to go a tour both the outside and the inside of the ship. Then we're going to go into how to build the ship, get all the pieces together, all the special edits and merging that's needed. And then at the end, there's a video of some combat of the ship in action if you wanted to see that. Now, all the mods you need for this are listed in the description below. Everything should be there, as well as the custom mod edits that I made for the weapons that are used on here, so you can use the same weapons that I have on this ship. For this ship, I also highly recommend downloading my free mod, Better Landing Pads for Large Ships. I made it specifically for this ship, wanted to release it before I release this build. With any large ship like this, you're going to run into clipping problems in the normal game. The game just wasn't made for ships this big, and you'll get light poles and trees and all sorts of things that will just clip into the sides and the back of the ship within the normal game. This mod specifically opens up and fixes all the landing packs that I could, so that this ship and others will be able to work into the game without any problems. It just makes the game a lot more immersive and a lot less of a headache to have a large ship in this game. I hope you guys enjoy.
Hello.
Alright, today I'm going to take you on a tour of the Vindicator so you can see how I laid the ship out, my reasoning behind it. So if you want to keep it just like this, you can, or may give you ideas on how you'd like to rearrange the ship yourself. And as you can see, she is a very big ship. The good thing about all the size is it gives you plenty of room to do whatever you want inside of there. I like to make the game as realistic as possible, so I've actually included a garage with actually elevators for lowering down this vehicle. As you can see, I wanted lots of room underneath the ship so you wouldn't have the car stuck in any terrain. It's very easy to get in and out, and you can approach the landing bay from any angle. Let's take a look at the entrance. Alright, as you enter the ship, directly in front of us, we have the garage with the elevator for our vehicles, as well as windows down there so you can see underneath the bay, and a nice view out of the front bottom of the ship. Immediately behind you as you enter, we have an armory and armor room. So any of the crew can suit up, grab weapons before they have to head out on the mission. This is the UC Security Star Law armor. I wanted stairs to go up. Most of the ship is all stairs, which makes navigating the floors very easy. This is the main stairway, which goes up 4 floors. So almost all the primary floors you can use stairs, and there's no ladders except for the very top room for boarding ships. Now, directly near the landing bay, we have our actual infirmary medical room, and there's another secondary smaller infirmary. If anybody's injured coming in and out of the ship, they can immediately get access to medical treatment. And then we have a small workshop area here where you can work on anything, weapons, armor, fix your gear before you go on your mission. Now on the front of the ship, this first floor, I've got 2 large cargo rooms. That way this ship, one of the primary purposes is to be able to deliver cargo, supplies, act as a mobile base. So there's plenty of storage room for anything that you'll be transporting, as well as anything you need for your base. Let's go up the stairs. On the first floor, this is the passenger floor. Have our brig. Any passengers get unruly or we pick up any bounties that we need to keep alive. To the left is the port side living space for passengers to be able to hang out and unwind. Alright, over here we have the starboard living space. Plenty of room for crew. Over here we have the passenger dining hall. Large kitchen. Small garden. And there is a doorway that links the port side living space to the kitchen over here. Now the living space and the dining room are the only rooms that have windows facing the outside. The rest of the ship is sealed up with armor. And we have a bathroom next to the dining area. In the dining room it does have a fire. We have some just general bunks along this room here. On the right side here we have our indoor garden.
Let's get out there and do something
Got
new
more.
today, shall we?
There's rooms going down the hallway. This is the bunk room. We have a large amount of passengers. Still plenty of room. On the right side, we have a little bit more secluded quarters. Now going to the front, we're near the bridge now. This is the secondary computer room. And this floor has access to the bottom stairs of the bridge. We can go ahead and just move to the next floor from here. Leading out of the bridge, we have our full crew control stations. Here we have our battle bridge. Off of the battle bridge, we do have a small crew area for any crew members that are on duty, want to relax, and need to stay near the bridge. Now we have the main computer room. And over here we have our crew kitchen dining area. It also has a shower and bathroom for the crew. the other side of the main computer room. We have just another small crew area for them to be able to relax, as well as a small gym. We have our engine room. This is the central engine room. There's also an engine room on each wing. Now here we have our officers' VIP quarters. This is our doctor's quarters. This is Barrett's quarters. Here we have our passageway that connects to our wing. This is the engine room located within the starboard wing. Across the hallway we've got personal quarters for Cora and her dad's room, Sam's. As well as access to the port side wing and engine room. We're going to go up to the next floor through the back stairs. And this is more for the officers, more for the higher value crew members that we take with us instead of just the generic crew members that you can hire around. I have washing machines, personal study room. This is more of a quiet getaway area. This area I've designated for Cora. This is for Cora to be able to do her schoolwork and have a playroom. Here is the officer meeting room and lounge. It does have an armored sky view. Fireplace, TV, kitchen. Going in here, this is Andreja's personal quarters. Here's my personal gym, as well as the captain's quarter. And this is the officers' lounge and bar. Now the officers on my ship I would include Sam, Sarah, Barrett, Andreja. And this is the only ladderway inside the ship. This takes you into the room for our docking on external ships. So in here we have a medical bay, as well as a window out of the front of the ship, a window to see the ships that we are docked to, and a small armory and brig, and a window out of the back of the ship. Alright, that is the layout for the internal of the ship. There's a lot of room here. I really highly recommend that you use place your own doors. It is going to be impossible to create any sort of usable internal layout for any rooms for a ship this size without using place your own doors. before we get into build of the ship, I wanted to do a special note to cover the weapons in here. The weapons that I am using come from the Bethesda's Aerospace mod. Now, I'm using a custom version of them, which you can get from the mod I'm releasing alongside of this. That adds my custom tweaks in here so you can have the same guns that I have. The reason I made the tweaks was to make the weapons more affordable, more realistic, and more in line of what I thought they should be and for this ship, as well as to change the power requirements so that you can have a larger number of turrets on this ship. Now, I did change the power requirements down to 1, so you can technically install 12 turrets on this ship, but what I have found is the game does not seem to want to work with more than 12 total, and with 4 turrets already on the ship, I found that only 8 of these turrets were working, so I've left the number of turrets on this ship to 8. Now, these weapons are not required for this ship. This is going to be your ship. You can put whatever weapons you want on it. But for this, I highly recommend using my mod in Bethesda's weapons. This gives you very deadly, long-range, front-firing gauss guns that do good damage to shields as well, so they can be leaned upon as your primary, forward, heavy-hitting weapons. And the turrets themselves have a wider angle of coverage than the normal turrets in the game do. They do good damage, and they were designed in balance so that 2 turrets would cover each zone of the ship. These 2 here will cover the upper left zone. The 2 on the bottom will cover the bottom right, left, bottom right, and upper right. So these turrets were designed to work in pairs of 2. Now, they do have a wide enough track path that if you have ships that are not directly behind you, the turrets can actually fire on them as well as if you have ships in front of you. If they're not directly in front of you, these turrets will be able to assist in taking out targets in the front. So I believe changes to these weapons really help make this more of a heavy cruiser, a fully well-defended and armored and protected ship that has 360 degrees of protection. And if any ship gets lined up with the front of it, it will get demolished with those front gauss cannons. Thank you. Alright, today we're going to be going over how to build the Vindicator. Now, this is the largest ship I've ever built. It uses the most number of parts I've ever built on a ship. I'm using a mod that increases my parts limits to 600 pieces so that I could equip everything on here, and that's including all the markers for the door. In order for a ship this large to have any sort of working door and pathway layout, you really have to place the doors yourself in ladders, or if not, you're going to have a giant, frustrating maze. Now, here's the big overall view. It looks like a lot, but we're going to take it a section at a time, so it's going to be easier to go over. I would normally want to show you all the parts you would need for a build so you can get them out, but with a ship this size, we're going to go over each part that you're going to need for each section. So we'll go over the parts, we'll complete that section, then we'll move over to the next one. We're going to build the core body of the ship, then we're going to go over the wings, the front nose layout, and that should cover the complicated parts. Alright, now let's go ahead and start with the bottom of the ship, the landing bay, and the entrance of the main halves. So for the landing bays, I'm just using the default Deimos landing bay. For our gear, we're going to need 3 Tayo pinpoint landing gears. For our habs, I'm using the SPE Armory on the back, the new Nova Galactic double-decker 2x1x2A and the Deimos garage 3x1. As far as structure pieces, we're going to need a porthole forward, and we're going to need from the CHI mod this Deimos rear cowl. Engines are on the way here, as well as another porthole, 2 side standard portholes. Now for the parts of the hull that's sticking out of the ship for aerodynamic and visual purposes, I like to have the Nova look. It's a little smoother, more rounded. So I have a Nova 2x1 shell, which will snap on top of the SPE, the Stroud Premium Edition one, so that when the ship is complete, it'll look like the Nova shell. But while we're building it, it's going to show you the Stroud one. Okay, so to start, take our landing bay, connect it to a tire pinpoint gear, add the Deimos cowl on the back, stick your armory on top, the Nova Galactic 2x1A, and then our garage windows on front and back. Now there's so many landing gear required for this ship, I had to merge a lot of them together. So we're going to merge all 3 of these landing gear into one. There's enough snap points with the pieces above and behind it that I can go ahead and just move that landing gear into place and it'll snap, as well as this one here, so we don't need to do any sort of merging tricks. And this will give us the core foundation of the ship. Next, we're going to add the rest of our landing gear onto the side. But before we do that, let's actually start with the floor above it, because it's going to need to snap onto it. Alright, so for our next floor, for the hab pieces, you will need the Deimos cargo hold 2x3, cargo hold 3x3, the SP infirmary 2x1, workshop 1x1, SPE infirmary 1x1. For cargo, I'm going to use 3 Avantech cargo containers. I do have these modded so they give the same cargo value as TN's all-in-one. For structural pieces, we will need the ASC armor plating. We will need a lot of these CHI Model 3 Nova colonies. Just grab one and we'll duplicate it as we build. We'll use these Stroud caps. The bottom Stroud cowlings. I'm going to use this Stroud cap B. We're going to use some of these CHI flat mount plates so we can mount the weapons on the bottom of the ship. For weapons, I'm using the modified Class B Aerospace, the SBC-20A destroyer turrets. We have 4 of those on here. So this will give us all of the main pieces that we need, so we can go ahead and start construction. Alright, the easiest thing is going to start with the cargo hold 3x3. We're going to go ahead and snap this into place. Now I've left, for time purposes and to help me see the layout of the ship, I left all of the place it yourself doorways in there. So I've got just a door for port door, door aft, door starboard, door starboard. We'll place our doors as we go. I'll let you place what type of door you prefer. So I'll skip over talking about the doors any further than that. You can place the doors that you like. Just note that on some HABs, certain types of doors or certain direction doors don't work well, so you may need to troubleshoot them a little bit. We'll place our cargo hold 2x3. We're going to place our infirmary. Right on the right side. And our two 1x1s on the other right side. We're going to place our 3 Aventech containers. We're leaving a hole right here. That's where our stairs are going to be. And for convenience sake for building this thing, let's go ahead and bring that stairway over. So we're going to be using the Stroud Premium Edition 4-story stairway. And press your button to switch around what type so that it says aft. So our doors that we go in are going in this way. On the back side it is blocked. No doors can be placed on the back side. So there's where our stairway is going to be. It's going to give us a good frame of reference for building. We're going to move these 2 Stroud caps to round out back. I'm going to double check how this is going to fit on here. Okay. So these caps are going to go onto the last place of the cargo hold. And these armor platings are just going to connect. Actually, those are going to connect to a different part. We're going to leave these out to the side. So what they're going to connect to is not there yet. So after this Stroud cap, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Stroud cowlings. And then the last cap is going to be placed at the end. So it's going to look just like this. This cap is going to be even this container here. Doing the nose of the ship is its own thing all in itself to be able to make that fit. Let's go ahead and start how we're going to get that nose on there. So in order to get the shape of this bridge, which is quite unique, it's 3 wide, but it's pretty sloped in there. We are using these ASC armor platings to go around it, but it doesn't go. You have to put them kind of like in between. So these 2 here will go right here, which is an off position. So you need to get a Gilibran special ham snap, fore aft, 100% wide. We're going to place that right there in the center of the hull. And what that allows us to do, here's our nose here. I'm going to go underneath it so you can see. It's going to allow these two armor platings to be able to connect 2 to 3. So this would be the normal connection spot. We need it to be halfway over in between. That Gilibran special snap allows us to do that. I'll go over the weapons at the end, but here on the normal mounting spot here is where we're going to place these MR200 direct fire magnetic guns. As we build this ship, this is going to be a less cluttered workspace, as well as once we get from underneath it. So once we have these two on here, now these side pieces will connect right to it, which is going to give us our nice tapered look. In order to finish the nose, I need the hull pieces on top to be added. So this is the rest of the nose right here, as well as this that helps cover it. So we're going to add those on later, once they can. Now that we have this first floor built, now we can go ahead and add the rest of the landing gear. So this is going to be the landing gear, and the way that we're going to create that, we use this Stroud cap on both sides. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, at least 13 of these NG-15 landing gear. We're going to have the Stroud engine mounts on the back. We're going to use these ACS spine connectors, and on the side we have these Stroud cowlings. As well as the CHI Model 3 Deimos cowl 4, and we're going to use some more of those Gilibran special adapters. Alright, so we're going to start with these spine connectors. To move this Gilibran. These spine connectors are just going to snap right onto the hull of the garage. We're going to connect a Gilibran special ham snap point 25% to the end. Now we're just going to take the rest of these. These just snap nice and easy right to the side of the hull. Now that those are on there, that is where our landing gear is going to snap to. And what this does is it pushes out this landing gear so it's a little bit further out, so that we can then blend it in to these Stroud cowlings so they go together and look nice. Now for frame of reference, we're going to go ahead and put our shroud cap here. And that connects just right like that. Now to have a more seamless look for merge parts, where different parts will end up merging and overlapping, if you can match their color, it'll make them much more seamless. Now that special Gilibran ham snap we put on there is so that we can take this Deimos cowl, and instead of it being lined up normally, we're going to make it go sideways a little bit. So that we can give a more tapered and aerodynamic look as the bottom meets into this 3x1 here. So it's not as much of a just flat face. Matching the colors there, white and white, helps them fit. So the rest of this is just going to be taking your landing gear. And there's my missing landing gear. So yeah, we had 14 NG landing. So putting the landing gear on here, there's not enough room for these landing gear to be able to have enough weight to support it. So what we're going to do is we're going to merge 4 of these landing gear onto the existing ones. And I'll show you that after. Now that the landing gear is here, to help them blend in with the body, we're going to take these cowls and these cowls are going to line up and just snap normally with this shroud cap. And what it does is it gives us a more clean, aerodynamic merged look, so that this particular landing gear isn't quite so unwieldy looking. And by having this spacer here, it puts these out far enough that there's enough room for the landing gear to be able to go into the actual unit itself without clipping through the actual shroud cap too much. That just looks too unrealistic for me. So these should just snap in pretty simple. This is in the way. And then we're going to take our Stroud engine mount and just snap that in right there. So this Stroud engine mount will be even with the back. I'm just going to highlight. The other side is made exactly the same. Just follow it in reverse order. All right, now we have the other side connected the same way as the port side. I'll go ahead and do a select all just to make sure that everything is seeing each other and clicking into place. Now we're going to go ahead and merge on our 4 additional landing gear that we need. And this is going to use a simple merge trick. What we're going to do is get the landing gear as close as we can to where we want it, not to be perfect, and make sure that it's not trying to automatically snap into place. And this merging trick, when you highlight all and select an item, when you do that, when you move the entire piece, all of a sudden every snapping point, even ones that are already used, suddenly become available to any piece close to it, and your whole piece will snap into place. So by putting this close to it and then selecting all and doing that, it snapped the whole ship to this landing gear, so now they're on top of each other. And you can tell when I hover over it, looks a little crazy, but in the game, otherwise you can't even tell. We're going to do the same thing to all 4. Get it close, highlight all, then hit accept, and it's snapped into place. It's close. Now we're snapped. It's close. Now we're snapped. Now we have all the landing gear on there, and the first floor of the ship is complete. That bottom part was a little bit tricky. It's a little difficult. These other floors are going to go a lot faster. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next floor of our ship. Let's go over what we're going to need. Let's go over the habs that we're going to need. Let me take this and move this into the light. Alright, for this floor, let's go over the parts. Using a Stroud computer core 2x1, Stroud all-in-one berth 2x1, all-in-one berth 2x1B, SPE crew dormitory, Stroud all-in-one 3x1, have an SPE companionway 1x1, SPE hydroponics, the Stroud living quarters 2x2 with a Tayo shell 2x2, the Stroud brig 2x2, SPE companionway 3x1, SPE mess hall 3x2 with a Tayo shell 3x2, and the Deimos living quarters 2x2 with a Stroud shell. These Stroud shells give it a cleaner, flatter connection point to the outside edge of the ship. For cargo, we have 2 more of these Aventech cargo containers here, as well as 4 more in the front, and a Caraval V103 cargo. It's these big cargo units. For structural pieces, we have the ASC armor plating, Stroud nose cap, C. We're going to use these Aventech small panels to give a much more flat and smooth side to the ship, so it's not just exposed habitation pieces. We're going to use quite a bit of those, as well as we're going to put a window right here. On the back we have the Stroud cap B. Alright, this should be all of our pieces. So let's go ahead and we're going to start by placing these 2 Aventech containers. They're going to go right on top of the 2 Aventech containers that are below them. That's going to be our baseline. We're going to go ahead and put these caps at the end. We're going to have this blank space here we're going to use to connect all the engines and fuel containers. Let's go ahead and start laying down our habs. So we're going to have an SPE 3.1 3x1 as our hallway. This just connects right to the elevator, not the elevator, the stairway. And in front of it, to continue our hallway, we're going to have a Stroud all-in-one berth 3x1 with a all-in-one berth 2x1, and then our computer core 2x1. This will be our hallway straight down the center of the ship. You can see one of the reasons why I left these doors here, so it'd be easier to line up the ship pieces where it went. We're going to save the front of the ship. That area is going to be constructed a little bit of a special fashion. Let's go ahead and take our Stroud brig 2x1 or 2x2 and our Stroud living quarters 2x2. We're going to place these right here. To create our hydroponics area, we're going to have the SP 1x1 companion way in the hydroponics bay. And this is going to give us a side hallway and room. So we can walk right from our all-in-one berth down this hallway into the hydroponics bay. Nestled in between them is going to be the all-in-one berth. I'll put berth B here, berth A there. And then for the shape of the ship, we're going to put our Stroud nose cap right here. So this is what we've got so far. We have our move this shell out of the way. So we have our Deimos living quarters and our SPE mess hall. They're just going to connect right on this side of the ship. Port side. Get the shell out of the way. Here is our mess hall. Now I put a door. I have single doors going from the hallway into the rooms. But I put an extra door in between these living quarters so they can get into the kitchen. And let's go ahead and get these shells in place. I go 2x1 to cover that room, 3x2 to cover the next room. Anyway, these edge-facing hab modules will be flatter and easier to work with. Now we're going to place our bathroom. This is going to connect right into the dining room area through here. We're going to place our SPE crew dormitory right here with this entrance going through right here. I've clicked up too many times. And let's get our other cap on here. All right, that takes care of the main rooms on the floor. We'll go ahead and put these armor platings on now, I guess. All right, so when we're looking at the side of the ship, instead of it being just a bunch of different halves that look like they're connected to each other with extra logos, multicolors, to have a nice clean side. We're going to attach these Aventech small panels to the side of the ship and just make them the same color as the hull. Now we also have to put some side panels around this window so that there's not such a large gap around the window. We're going to do on each side, it's going to place a Gilibran special hab snap 50% wide. You're going to connect the edge onto the normal snap point here. You put that down, and what that'll allow us to do is take another one of these and have it connect part of the way so that most of all that space around the window is covered. And there's another Gilibran hab snap right there on the same side, same way. That way this panel can connect up close to the window, so we have a minimum amount of hull exposed. It's going to be the exact same thing for the other side. Window is in the same location, and that is on the Stroud living corner. On the front corner here is where the window is. These should snap regularly. There we go. To the regular snap points on the side of the hull. And we have our two panels that are going to go around the window. And they will just merge and overlap with the existing one, so we'll get a seamless look. As long as you set the color for these as just a single tone color, they will be seamless between each other. All right, now we're going to go over how we're going to make the area around the bridge connect, which is going to connect in a unique way. All right. Now the front design is going to have the bridge connected right to the front here, but in order to try and match the shape, this very unique shape of this cabo bridge, we're going to use these CHI Model 3 Deimos bumpers. And there's just these pieces here that we can rotate. What we're going to do is we're going to have these armor platings with these big holes in there. We're going to turn these whole areas into a place where we can actually have braking engines, so that we have 4 braking engines hidden and take advantage of this space that this armor plating gives us. In order to get the correct height and placement for these braking engines, we need to use a couple of parts to be able to get the right placement. So for the structural pieces we need, you will need the cable bridge, of course. Storage, we have a Caraval V103 cargo hold on each side. Got 4 of them in total. I have 4 Aventech cargo containers. We have these ASC armor plating type B1 Delta bracers. We're going to have 4 of those. For spacing, This is the TIG tail. It gives us this thickness. We also have these TIG cubes. And we will use the Gilibran special hab snaps to be able to get the correct placement. So we'll start with this bottom level first. Let me move this out of the way. I will show you how to create the bottom one. So take a... Let me get that away from there. So we have a Gilibran special hab snap, 50% right into the normal snap point of our computer core. We're going to take this and it's going to go onto the right snap point that it creates. So it's a little bit off. We're then going to take the TIG tail and we are going to take its main snap point and just snap it right onto the TIG cube. So we get the thickness of this TIG tail. Now we're going to take this Gilibran special hab and we're going to connect it right to the right of its snap point. So it's a little bit off. I'm using the left side as my reference to make sure I don't get anything out of place. What this does is it moves the snap point from here to here so we can place our engine there. Now let's go ahead and take the cabo bridge, put it on front. We will need that as our reference. And we can take our braking engine. And we'll adjust this later. But it's going to connect right to that end piece that we have on there. So that we have our braking engine right there. Now to fill up the space here, I'm going to take these two Aventech storage containers and they're just going to snap into that empty place here and they're going to overlap the engine, which is fine. To fill in this empty space right here so that we don't have a gap between this armor plating and the internal, we're going to use this to our advantage to go ahead and place another cargo container. That's going to snap right in there. That way the internal cavity there is filled. And now we can take our armor plating and where it is going to snap, it lines up and matches with this bottom armor piece right here. So it goes flush with it. Now when we look forward, our engine brake should be in there with enough room to be able to shoot out the side. Now in order to get these bumpers to be able to snap into place, we need a CHI Model 3 universal snap. And in order to get our snap in the right spot, we've done here, we're using a Gilibran special hab snap 100%. And its bottom part is connecting right in to the normal snap point on the side of this container. It creates this left snap point where we can connect our universal one right there. Now these things are a little tricky to get into place. Takes a little bit of finagling them to get them to actually click into the right one sometimes. With that in place though, this end piece here can connect right into it. And if we turn it the right angle, snap it in place here, this is now snapped into place. Periodically do a select all to make sure everything is snapped into place. Right now it's harder for me to get them back into position because of all of these extra Gilibran snap points and doors and things that I left here as a blueprint. We're going to do the same thing for the other side. I've got the other side snapped into place. And now we can use that to look and judge and make sure our distance was right. Now we're going to take this. It needs to move forward just a hair. And then the engine should look like that. It should have a clear way to exhaust vent out the front. And then its side should be clipping through just like that. Alright, and now that floor is complete. And we can move on to the next floor. All right, for the next floor, for the halves, we're going to use an SPE control station 3x1, the SPE battle station 2x2, the Deimos living quarters 2x1, an SPE bathroom A aft, SPE living quarters 2x2, Deimos computer core 2x2, SPE gym 1x1, SPE crew quarters 2x1, Stroud engineering bay 3x1, SPE companionway 1x2 sideways, another 1x2 on the other one for the hallways. And we've got Barrett's room 4, ship doctor room 4, Cora's room 4, and Sam's room 4. For cargo, we are using more of the Aventec cargo containers. For structural pieces, we have more of these Stroud nose caps, more of the ACS armor platings. You can copy those from the floor below. And these Stroud caps at the end. On the side, we have more of the Aventec small panels. They will be rather easy to get snapped into place. So starting from the stairway, we're going to go ahead and put our Aventec cargo containers. And they're going to snap and match with the ones right there on the floor below. These caps are going to match right with the floor below. Now for our main hallway, we have our Stroud engineering bay 3x1. Feel free to use whatever engine bay you prefer most. This is in the inside of the ship, so you won't even need to worry about matching it. Now what I want you to see, I'm not going to cover the wing just yet. We'll do that next. But I've got a actual walkway that goes into the wing. And it's these SPE companion hallways that are going to connect Those are slightly off. I can tell they don't match with the door. There we go. So these hallways will connect to the main hallway through here, and then put a door down so it can go into each one of the wings. We're going to have aft doors along the hallway so that we can connect each one of our 1x1 crew rooms. And we've got another layer of Aventech cargo containers. These cargo containers just will, for one, they add storage space, which we need. Two, they're a good filler. You can replace those with whatever you want, though. Now we're going to have our hallway connect right in to our computer core. Next to the computer core is going to be the living area. You can see I've got the doorway right there that's going to connect into it. On the other side, we have our SPE crew quarters 2x1. You can see the pink purple doorway that's going to connect in. Now we're going to add a gym right off of the crew quarters. So we're going to put a door there. And we're going to put this gym. And you know what? I think it would be nice if there wasn't a door that you had to open. Let's just use this right here. It's an easier door to open. Now we're going to connect our... I'll connect it one at a time so you can see the door placement. It's just a door that continues down the main center line. We're going to have our Deimos living quarters, which has a door right there to connect into it. And then this is the bathroom, SPE bathroom A aft. And this is going to connect into this living quarters right there. Now we're going to have our two port caps. Now we're going to have our SPE control station. It's going to be our hallway. It's going to connect the rest of the ship to our cabo bridge. Alright, and now we're going to go, let's go ahead and get these armor panels on the side. The back section is going to be where the wing connects, so we don't need panels on the very back. But you're going to place, starting from the first room, you're going to place 4 panels on there to give us a nice smooth armored sidewall. And we're going to go ahead and build the piece that we need to connect the top engine. Alright, so we're going to have another Gilibran special hab snap, 50% wide. Make sure our alignment is correct with a TIG cube. I'm going to use the TIG tail, its main snap point, just to add a little bit of thickness, bump it out further, and then we're going to connect its left point to the snap point right there on the TIG. So now we can snap the engine in, and we need the forward distance. That end should match the forward distance below it. Yep, if we look on the front, we can now see that it's got room to go. Integrity check passes. To fill in this empty space here. Another cargo hold there. And this bumper here is going to connect to the same universal snap point, which is now buried. But an infinite number of things can connect to that one snap point. And these two should line up with the out onto the cable hull, and then we look and we should be able to see the exhaust. Gonna quickly fix this other one. Now we've got the other engine in place. Take our Aventech cargo hulls, holds. They're gonna fit nicely into that empty space there. Both sides. We're going to take our armor plating. That's going to line up with the plating below it. When we look, we should get a nice clean finish with our braking engines nuzzled right into the armor. And that does it for that floor. I'll wait to put those nose pieces on till the end. This is a reshoot of building of the wing. I noticed when I was putting the video together that one of the pieces didn't snap correctly and that wasn't quite clear how it was supposed to be connected. So here is a redo of the construction of the wing. For the parts that you're going to need, for the hab, I'm using a Stroud Engineering Bay 3x1. For the structural components that we will need, actually this is also considered a hab, the HopeTech hab cross brace. For the structural pieces on the bottom, we're going to use several Stroud mid bracers. We're going to be using the ASC armor platings, the slanted ones. We've got the Nova Spine Cs that we're going to place at the top and bottom. We're using some Aventech wings we're going to use for the bracers. We have an ASC armor plating type B flipped upside down. Two Deimos braking engines. ASCD armor plating. We're going to use the flat one. And we're also going to be using a sloped version. We're using the ASCD multi-roll wing type B and type A. We're using one of our SPE SAL 7000 engines or similar engine of this type and design. We're using some CHI flat plate mount plates for the weapons, and I'm using the PBO 100 auto Newton turrets for the rear. We're going to be using several of the Gilibran special ham snap. We're using the ones that go on the top, as well as one on the side as well. Don't forget to place your doors going in and out of the ship. And we are using the Metallijas Aerospace starboard and aft. We're going to use those to help mount the side armor plates. I'm going to remove this top piece here, which you will not have added yet. Alright, to construct the wings, you're going to start from the first hab. It's from the back of the ship. On this side, it's going to be the companionway. Actually, on both sides is going to be the SPE companionway 1x2s. Go ahead and attach a Hope Tech cross brace to it. And then we're going to connect our Stroud Engineering Bay right to the last door. For the bottom, to round it off, we're going to place 3 of these Stroud mid-bracers. And so that we can mount the armor plating over the engine, we're going to put 2 of these Metallurgies Aerospace wings, connect right to the back. These 2 Deimos engine breakers are going to go on the front and take the ASC armor plating. In order to get this one into place, we want to get it as close as possible to this Hope Tech cross brace. On the side of the ship, we're going to place a Gilibran special hab, 50% wide right here, so that it gives us more left-right wiggle room in placing this. Alright, so when we place it, it should be right next to and pushing up against this Hope Tech cross. This is about the point here, and how much of a gap that you should have. In order to build the wings, we're going to need to place some of these Gilibran 50% hab snaps on top. We're going to place 1, 2, 3, all right in a row. And we're all going to place some of the 75% wide. We're going to place them at the very end on the hab, and 1 on the very end of this bottom mid-bracer, so that we can put our weapon mountings just above the engines. Alright, let's go ahead and get our 2 bracers in place. In order to get these bracers to mount and connect to the engine wing as well as the side of the ship in a nice clean fashion without any gaps, we're actually going to need, let me move this out of the way, we're going to need to use 2 of these CHI Model 3 universal snaps. You need to get these snapped in place right at the normal snap point on the bottom of these Stroud Eklund cowlings. Now, an easy way to do this, to get it directly right where you want it to, is to go ahead and use the option to add a piece right to it. On computer, if I press G, I can have the option to add a piece directly to it while I'm looking at that hab snap. I can go over to structures, go down to the universal snap, and it'll place it perfectly where we need it to be. Another way to do it would be to drag this away from the ship, away from other things, and then try to get the hab snap into the right spot there and just move it back into place. Once those are in place, take our supports, you're going to move it over, and once it gets close, it's going to want to start to clip to it. Where we want it to connect is right in the side of the top part of the Stroud cowling. If you go too low, it comes out the bottom. You don't want it too high, or it's going to stick too high into the engine cavity. So if we get it right here, we get a perfect balance where it's nice and flush with the hull, and it goes in to connect and does not go into and actually clip the interior of that engine bay. You can just move it up and down. Find that right spot right there. And now we have the basic shape of our wing built. Go ahead and put that back. Now this one here that's exposed, you will be able to see it. Go ahead and just match the color of that to the ship, or you can add some sort of decoration over top if it's bothering you. I don't think it's visible if you match it with the color of the ship. Alright, let's go ahead and stick our engine on the back. And in order to do this, we're going to have to use the select all and move trick to be able to get it to clip to it, since these snap points are already taken. So get it as close as you can. Do select all on the ship, select it, and it should snap the whole ship to the engine. Alright, and now it's connected. Alright, we're going to go ahead and place the armor plates on next. These two are the same armor plating. I've got just a section of this painted a different color to give a white stripe on these, and then a black stripe on the front. These are the same plates, just rotated down at a different angle. And then there's a variant of these that's slanted. Put one on the top, bottom. Give nice armor covering to our side engine. You can go ahead and slide our weapons over to the top and bottom of the engine. Now to build the wing, move this turret out of the way. Also need one more Gilibran 50% snap right there on the Aventech cargo container. We're going to use these ASC multi-roll ring type Bs to do the wing covering. Starting from the back, we're going to place it so it's even with the back, and then so the edge of it looks like it's connecting right into and giving more support for the armor plating. For the other one, we're going to put it on here. We're going to have it overlap just slightly. Alright, we're going to place the third one on here. Again, it's going to be just a slight overlap. So the snap point here is still visible. Now, this creates the left part of the wing. We're going to go ahead and create the right point of the wing. We're going to place this on the front trailing edge of the wing here. We can adjust that back and forth. We'll get it exactly like we want it. We're going to put one. I'm just going to move this right here. We're going to place this blockier one here at the edge to match up the back. We'll place this one here. Now to create the front edge of the wing on this side, we're going to put this armor plate snap on there. This gives us a better guide for where the front of our wing needs to end. It's gonna go right there. And to prevent from having to keep overlapping this wing, which I found just had too much texture fighting, we're gonna use this slanted armor plate in in the middle. To be our middle part of the wing here. We're going to match this edge up here with the edge of that. Now, when we put this shroud cowling in place, see, it gives us a nice clean looking wing. And I like the particular shape of the wing that it makes in the back, and how it hides this Hope-Tech cross bracer, but you can still see it from the back. And then with this armor plating here in the front, makes it nice, good under the wing, and provides protection for that passageway through. Go ahead and put that turret back. Alright, the last part for the wings, we're going to put these Nova spines on here, and we want them to click in with the actual hull and not on top of these armor platings. So you may have to move these to get them to start snapping in place at the right height. Yeah, you can see we want it to be flush with the hull and not on top of these wings or this armor plating. It's going to be a little tricky to get that one back in place. I'm going to invert the changes to get that back. You may also, in place, you may need to do the select all and accept trick to be able to get it to snap back in point. Alright, now these are in place, and this should stop right before the turret. It should not be clipping into the turret at all. Alright, and then to help all these various parts fit in with each other better, match them to the same color. That way they appear seamless in like a single piece. And that is it for the wings. Alright, time for the last main floor, and we are almost complete. Alright, now let's go over the shells first. I'll go ahead and get them out of the way. To make all the rooms look seamless in this top area, I got a Deimos shell 3x3, a Deimos shell 2x1, and a Shroud shell 3x1. The shells are going to make the top of the ship look more uniform and smooth and connected to each other instead of all these varied colors. Alright, the parts we will need: Habs, SPE living space 2x2, SPE captain quarters 2x1 aft, SPE gym 1x1, SPE companionway 1x1, SPE Andresia's room 1x1, SPE mess hall B 2x3 top, SPE companionway 2x1, Deimos living quarters 3x1, and SPE all-in-one berth 3x1. We have our mounting plates with our weapons. We have our weapons on the front. We have a Nova cowling, and then the next continuation of the cowling, I have a frequency jammer here. I have another mounting plate so that I could put the buoyant insulator. This is a new part in the game. You have to find the directions and manual as loot to be able to build it. It reduces the ship mass by 20%, which this ship needs. I also attached a repair system overdrive. And here and hidden is going to be the TIG Class C T9B shield booster, which gives us our secondary shield system. We have our supplemental ion beam H1020 reactor to give us an additional 24 power from TN's supplemental reactors. We have the CHA Model 3 Deimos belly aft, the Strode Cap B ports, our Stroud Cap A. We're using the Stroud Cowling 3LA PT, several of those, and the ACSD armor plating. This gives us all of our parts for the ship. So let's go ahead and start from the elevator. So directly behind the elevator is where we're going to connect the supplemental ion beam and the Deimos belly. This will create the cavity for the engines, the reactor, and the fuel. To the left and right of that is going to be the Stroud caps. Now we're going to have our hallway, our SPE companionway. Alright, and I fixed the alignment issue, which you will not run into. So we're taking our SPE companionway 2x1 hallway. I'm going to connect it to the stairway. Now coming out immediately to your right and left, we're going to have doors and then a ladder right there, which is going to connect to our room above. We have a door at the end of the hallway. Now you're going to take your living quarters 3x1 and SP all-in-one, place it on the side of the hallway. I'm going to go ahead and connect our mess hall with accessories. With our doorway leaving through the center. Now we have an SP companionway 1x1, which acts as a hallway here, with Andreja's room starboard connected with a door on that side. We have our gym connected on this side. Our captain quarters, SPE aft with doorway connected, and then the SPE living space 2x2 with a doorway in the center line. Now our Stroud structure pieces are going to connect pretty easily around the structure we just created. And that should match up with the outline and the shape of the other pieces below it. So you're just going to place these right down. Place your turret with mounting plates on this triangle-like flat area in the middle of each one of these Stroud cowlings. I'm going to save the front for later. We're going to go ahead and take our Stroud shell, and it's going to go over our Deimos 3x1 so it matches the Stroud shell on the edges on the other side. To have a center color, I'm going to put our Deimos shell on that hallway so we have the color scheme down that middle area as Deimos And then this entire section of rooms is all going to get covered. So it looks like a seamless Deimos piece for coloring. Now that we have that part done, we can go ahead and install the engines. So right in the center is going to be our reactor. And let's go over our parts. I'm using the Theta Pinch E9 reactor, whatever largest Class C reactor you have. 2 stories will work. We have 2 700T HE3 tanks. I'm using the Apollo GV300 grav drive. We have our matching CHI Deimos belly piece on the bottom. The other 2 of our SPE, actually 4 of our SPE SAL 7000 engines. We're using 2 of the CHI Model 3 Quasar 3000. These are just decorative engines. We are using the Deimos, the ACS Deimos debris shield type A reversed, 1 on each side. We're going to be using the ASCD Deimos spine connector to attach the armor plating to. We are going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, no, 4 of these ASC pylon type B. The other pylon variant, using 2 of those on the side, ASCD pylon type A. And then to get a better fit here at the bottom, we have 2 of these CHI Model 3 Deimos spine A. We just turn them so that they're B. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and install the engine. It's right here in the center. Right behind the engine is going to be the grav drive. And then we're going to put the corresponding structure piece underneath it. So we've got shielding for the grav drive on the top and bottom. To the left and right of the engine, the reactor, we're going to put 2 of these fuel tanks. And go ahead and take these Quasar 3000 engines, and they are going to be placed right to the side of the fuel tank so that this is their side profile. They are clipping into the fuel tanks slightly. Don't know if I need to move them out just. Yeah, they should not be clipping. We're going to install the top engines. It's going to snap into this piece here with the top sticking over. take our engines and we're going to get them to the sides here. Before we place these engines, we need to put these spine connectors into place. They are going to connect right here. Now we're going to connect the engines. They're going to connect to this bottom Stroud engine mount. And then we should be able to see the connector just sticking out just a little bit on the top. Alright, in order to get the structure pieces, we're going to want to mount the side armor. We're going to take these pylons in this configuration. We're going to place these. These are placed here mainly for symmetry with the bottom ones that we're going to put. It looks like extra support for the engines. These bottom ones we truly are using to be able to support the engines. Now this going to connect into that spine piece we have. Actually, it's going to connect right there. We'll have to test this. Make sure that gets at the right level. Okay, I think I'm reverting my previous statement. Yes. That should be nestled in a little bit so that see, it's not connecting quite there. It's connecting into the spine so that it doesn't stick out too far. This is what it should look like. None of these engine pieces should be overlapping with this. This is nice and flush with the hull of the ship. Now to cover up this dreadful gap here, we're taking these pieces, putting them like that. Once they're in place, it looks like they were meant to be there the whole time. I have to connect it once before it allows me to move and snap to the right spot. Now we have our beautiful engines reactor installed. That didn't click into place. Oh, I think I reverted it. Okay. Now for the top section, we've got a Nova shell 3x1 to make this top section nice and aerodynamic and seamless looking. For HABs, we have the Deimos Infirmary 2x1 and the Nova Galactic Brig/Armory 1x1. We have a bunch of these Stroud cowlings. This particular variant, because there are different shapes, with the Stroud caps on the front. Gonna going to go ahead and we're going to start with the infirmary, which is going to match up the 2x1 hallway underneath it. And we're going to place a window on the front and a window on the front there. We need a door in the back. I'm putting a passway through there. And then we need another passway for the window on the back. We'll go ahead and take our brig armory over. And there should be a gap above our engine there. Let's go ahead and take all of these portholes, stick them in place. We're going to take our Deimos Slim Docker, put that right over top of the infirmary. These are just structure pieces. And I did also add in an optional, this is a frequency jammer. I put it on there just for decorations. Now this will line up so that the front of this goes to the edge of the living space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these down. And then the Stroud engine mount, which goes right into the back engine. Take our Nova shell, the colors you like it, and put it on top of it. Now as a tip, when you're trying to figure out the paint scheme to match, it's better to actually get rid of the normal halves. Just leave the shell in place so you can match the color with the shell, and then you can move the halves back in place if not they overlap each other too much. And then our Assurance SG-1800 shield is going to go right here, right in front of our mess hall, so the people in our mess hall can see the shield when they look up. And with this design, our top mess hole with that beautiful skylight is nestled in between this, so there's not many angles that shots could actually go to hit it. We also can get a nice view of it from this front porthole. Alright, now to place the front cover on, we have these ACS Deimos armor plating, nose cap, we have these Nova cowls. Here's my real frequency jammer. Our guns are attached on here. Now, in order to be able to place these at like a half step from where these are, we have to place a Gilibran special hab snap. We need to do the same thing on the bottom to get them there at 100%. And what it allows us to do is, instead of this connecting as normal, we can now connect it at a half step, so that the edge is right in the middle. With so many pieces, it takes a while to cancel. Now that those are in place, these two will just clip onto the side of them. So this should be what it looks like. Now, to help blend in these armor platings into the cabo hull, so there's not this big gap, We're actually going to use a lot of these CHI Model 3 Nova colonies. Do one other thing that I need to mention that I've covered up. In order to be able to place that at the right distance forward, so we can get it right up to the perfect distance forward, we need to place several of these Gilibran Special Hab Snap 25% and a 50%. The reason we have two is you're going to place this 50% right on the regular snap point. And we need finer degrees of movement on this front so that we can get it just right. So we're going to place it right there so that when we go to place this here, we can get it right perfectly to match up with that window. Now once you have done that, we're going to take this and duplicate it. I don't know if I've lost one of these when I was moving the whole ship around. I may have lost one of these. What I'm going to do is duplicate this like this, like this. Let's see if this is the right level that it's doing. Both at the same time. It's giving me one tiny snap out. Tiny snap on both sides. Now it wants to give me a big snap. A big snap. Do a big snap, a big snap, and a big snap, and do big. All right. Now we're going to cover most of that up. We are going to take our Nova cowling, move that right up to the window, snap this in behind it, and with some color matching, you can get it to be pretty smooth transition to blend that cabo bridge into the rest of it, and most of that armor, the harshness of it, is covered up. And this is what I had originally created. Now that step we just did there, you'll do the exact same thing on the bottom. Go ahead, repeat the exact same process on the bottom, and then you are complete. If you made it all the way to the end, I want you to give yourself a round of applause. You did a great job. This was a big build. It was a complicated build. I'm quite happy with the results of it. So I think it's worth the time and the effort. I would love to see your completed ships. If you can go ahead and post them on Reddit or reply to me in here and I'd love to see the changes that you guys decide to do to the ship. I hope this gives you some ideas on how to blend that cabo bridge into the hull, ideas for creating wings for the ships, for creating engines, and for the landing gear on the bottom. Alright, have a good day.
Yes, we're here. Look at those keys.
Got the crab drive! Let's do this! Good shot! Sounds like we're ready anyway. Crab drive's out! They got one of the guns! Lost the gun! Waste of time.
We've taken out their grab drive.
You have let yours do!
The target shields are
Down
offline.
goes their crab drive.
Are you prepared to face judgment?
Yes. Yes, the ship's crab drive is out of commission.
Crowd drive going. We end this.
We've knocked out their shields.
I'm not crazy. Mom is in trouble. We gotta hurry.
You have let yours do.
Target's jump drive is down. Shields are down. We got Captain.
Weapons are down.
Nice. They just lost their crab drive.
Mom's got to be okay. She's just got to.